What is good, everybody? My name is Will, and welcome to episode 2 of Show Your Stripes. I'm here with Allie, as always. You can go ahead and say hi.
Hi guys, hope you guys are all doing great.
And obviously, the Tigers played 2 today, and we're gonna go ahead and recap both games. I'm calling this a tale of two offenses because, quite frankly, both teams look completely different in both games. And we're probably gonna be more frustrated than the second one, so you're gonna want to stay tuned for that. So, yeah, the second game was not fun, but the first one was.
Yes, we got a good and a bad for today. I think we talked about it yesterday, thinking that it was going to be a split today. So,
yeah, I put my expectations in that we were not going to sweep because I think we've played our fifth or sixth doubleheader, and we've only swept one.
Yeah, it's definitely a very on par with the tale of two offenses, that's for sure.
So, yeah, the first game, obviously, the Tigers won 7-2 over the Oakland A's at the dumpster fire of a Coliseum that they got over there. And I'm going to go ahead and go over some of the highlights here, and we'll start talking about it. We got Riley Green went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Robbie Grossman was I would say would be the player of the game, had 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, and he really carried the offense. It was him and Baez who really carried the offense. Baez was 3 for 5. Candelario had I believe it was a solo shot in the 7th inning. And, a lot of clutch hitting in the game, and Skubal was back to his old self, and it was really relieving to see something out of him, which is what I want to go into now, because, I mean, it was a sigh of relief for me to see him actually pitch effectively today.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like, after so many rough starts, especially after the beginning of our season when he was really dominating at the mound, it was very nice to see him going back to that and having such a good start. The only thing that really sucked about the start was obviously our one error that we had today during that game.
Yeah.
Which
I would have been more harsh on that, to be honest, now, but the error or the run was originally charged as an earned run, and basically it was a pop up to Candelario he dropped it in the middle of the infield because of the sun, and it was ruled a hit, and it still was, but the run was not charged to Skubal, and it originally was, which not only upset me, I know it upset you, but it upset most of the fan base because
it wasn't on him at all.
It really hasn't, and it's not the first time that we've had this conversation. I know that I think back in KC a couple months ago, there was a couple errors that were charged that should have been charged as errors, that they were ruled as hits, and that hurt Skubal's ERA, which at the time was, I believe, in the low 2s to upper 1s.
Yeah.
And that really was ridiculous at that point on.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And, I mean, to be fair, his ERA now is 3.8, and that probably wouldn't have affected him in the long run just to have the 1 on his resume today, but it really annoyed me because it makes you wonder what kind of buffoon is up there calling scores. Is he biased or anything?
Yeah, no, I agree. Besides that factor, it was definitely nice to see Skubal actually controlling his pitches and actually dominating more on the mound I didn't really, especially on Twitter, I wasn't really saying much about it at that point, but it definitely seemed like he was having a way better start even than the last two the last 2 starts I'd say he's had have been better than he went on that 4 or 5 game start where they were just awful. So I definitely think this has been his best one in a while. So
it was the first time since June 7th, my mom's birthday, I might add, where he registered 9 strikeouts or more, and in the month of May he did it twice. So
yeah, he definitely was dominating with the strikeouts today, for sure.
and the 2 hits, and both of them were cheap ones. He really did not give up any hard contact at all today.
No.
He was back to, I would say, probably May Scooble in terms of the way he was effective on the mound today. And
it's definitely something we need, especially with Brisky being placed on the IL today too.
Yeah, there was a flurry of roster moves this morning, and I'll probably break off a segment later into this where we will go over all of those.
Yeah.
But because there was so many, it'd be hard to just remember them off the top of my head. But it was relieving, and hopefully that he can continue that and take it on to, I would believe he would probably pitch either against the Padres or it would be, I believe, against the Blue Jays next week in Toronto.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be real quick on the offense because it was, like I said, it was actually kind of decent today, which I even said this morning on Twitter. I said, this probably had to be the worst lineup on paper that we had ever thrown out there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. And then they somehow managed to score 7 runs today, which is a very on-par thing for them. But I definitely was a little hesitant with our lineup this morning when that came out. So them being able to manage as many hits and runs that they got today was definitely surprising to say the least.
Yeah, I want to also go ahead and shout out Teresa because she went ahead and proved me wrong. She said, "Oh, we're gonna get 6 runs and with this offense," and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, no, there's no way, it's not gonna happen. I've seen this movie too many times, and it goes up and it ages like fine wine. And I'm gonna go ahead and say real quick, we were actually talking in the 9th inning, and she said, I don't want to score another one. I want this just to stick as it was. And obviously they scored 2 in the 9th, and that made me a little upset because it would have been hilarious if that had aged the way it did.
Oh yeah, completely. I definitely was just very shocked watching today with the offense. They actually looked pretty decent. We definitely were getting offense that we were seeing more when we had that 6-game win streak 2 weeks ago compared to the games that we were seeing right before the All-Star break. So
the only thing that I would say was concerning about it was mostly the top 5 guys in the lineup that were producing, and other than Candelario, 6 through 9 in the lineup was a combined would be, I don't know, it would be something like, I think, literally Candelario was the only guy in the bottom half of the lineup who got any hits.
Yeah.
I know it kind of rambled on there a little bit, but Willie Castro 0 for 5, Cody Clemens 0 for 3, Victor Reyes pinch hit for him, he went 0 for 1, Harold Castro didn't get an at-bat, Candelario was 2 for 4, and then Zach Short, his return back, was 0 for 3, but he did walk.
Yeah. It shocks me a little bit with Cody, to be honest, because I know over the past his stint in Toledo, he was doing fairly well with his hits, and I think he had a couple of home runs as well. So honestly, I was expecting him coming back a little bit more out of his offense, to be honest. I'm glad they put him back at first base. I think he played a little bit more off first base than some of our other players on the team. So I definitely think that was a good move for today, but
yeah, I agree completely. There's been a gap of, obviously there's a gap between hitting in the AAA and in the major leagues, but
yes,
it's kind of been shocking with Clemens, even Badu, I think is 2 for 25 since coming up from the major leagues, and everyone's been complaining about it, which I think is a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because you got to give them some time to adjust to the major league pitching. But yeah, it's been kind of concerning with the amount of guys like Zach Short today, Cody Clemens, and I believe even Badu in the second game wasn't even that good. But they'll figure it out. I know they will.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the offense can get that spark out of them. Because I know Toledo, they have a high-flying offense down there.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of hard to believe, but I think we've said a lot about this first game, which, I mean, there's not a lot to say when you're happy with the team performing. I mean, the bullpen was solid. I mean, only Lang gave up the solo shot it would have been the 7th inning. But and then the offense came back, and there was really no issues in that first game, to be honest with me, or with you.
No, I agree. It definitely was actually a nice game to sit down and watch. It was nice not screaming at the TV every 5 minutes. So,
and now we have to talk about the bad game, which yes. I know this will probably take up most of the pod because it was frustrating to watch that one. The second game, which started, I believe, only 30 minutes after the first one, Tigers lose 5-0 to the Oakland A's and are shut out for the 14th time this season.
Mind you, we had a total of 9 shutouts last season. So and
another stat that I wanted to bring up, the Tigers officially lose 5 of 7 to the Oakland A's, the worst team in the American League by a country mile, and a team that only spent, I believe, something like $2 million on free agents this season.
Yeah.
That was the whole team was, I mean, the Garrett Hill, like I said, was not terrible. He went, Garrett Hill, he went 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and they were all in the 6th. He did not record an out in the 6th inning, walked 2, struck out 4, and he took the loss. Like I said, he was effective for the first 5 innings of the game. I believe let me see here. I don't even think he was cruising through the first 5, I'll say that.
Compared to his second start, it definitely was a lot better, and it was looking a lot more similar to his first start on July 4th. So
yeah, it was basically the opposite of his second start. He had a good start, but had a bad end as compared to the last start in Chicago, where he had a bad start and a good end of get into the outing.
Yeah, up until that last inning with the solo shot or the 3-run homer, I mean, he was actually looking really good on the mound. So I think that is definitely one positive we can take out of the second game. But that is probably one of the only from this. I mean, we completely had a separate offense from our first game, so.
Yeah, and I thought, like I said, I said before that I thought the offense for the first game, the lineup was terrible, I thought. And they proved me wrong. And I thought, I thought this lineup was way better. And they proved me right, or they proved me wrong again, and was completely awful. Only 4 Tigers got hits, and they were all meaningless. I believe there was only one extra base hit in the entire game, and that was a Harold Castro double. And all the other hits were meaningless singles by Jonathan Scope, Jamer Candelario, and Tucker Barnhart, which, whenever Tucker Barnhart gets on base, I'm going to say this, it's usually meaningless.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go on a little bit of a mini tangent here, real quick.
Yeah, you're good.
Tucker Barnhart has been, I feel like the criticism has not been there for him. He should be criticized because we thought he would be a guy, I know he's been a Gold Glove quality catcher back there, but he should not be getting as much playing time as he is. He's hitting .209 with a .513 OPS. And I believe there was like a stretch. I'm going to look at his game logs here. Let's see. In the month of June, he had 39 at-bats, had 7 hits. In the month of July, he has had 27 at-bats, 5 hits. And in the month of May, where he was basically starting every day, he had 69 at-bats and only mustered 13 hits. He has no home runs. The only extra base hits he've had are doubles, and there've only been 6 of those. He's been basically a liability or been a liability in the batter's box, and nobody wants to talk about it because like I said, he never gets on base. So nobody ever notices that he's there.
Definitely. I mean, I didn't even, realize how low his stats were. That's honestly, I never really have paid attention to that as much, so you bringing that up really does show it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I like Tucker Barnhart the person, but he is not, and I know he's a good player behind the plate and can call hell of a game, but like I said, his bat is a massive liability. When we brought him in, we thought, oh, he's going to be like the catcher that's going to save this franchise or something like that, and that everyone's saying, oh, Al fleeced the Reds, when in reality it was probably the Reds just starting that fire sale they had down there, and Al wanted a catcher to replace Jake Rogers for the time being.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like being that honest, but Tucker Barnhart needs, I don't know what he needs. He needs something to get his bat. I'm going to say this. There's another stat I didn't bring up. It's July 21st. He has 9 RBI from a starting catcher.
Yeah, that's insane, especially with when you add that up. That's probably around 120 at bats. To have 9 RBI is ridiculous. I mean, we're halfway through the season. There is no reason it should be that low. I mean, we obviously we have the lowest number of runs scored in all of MLB right now, but there is still no reason that something shouldn't be getting changed with or trying to get fixed with that at bat, because it's obviously not getting any better.
In comparison, Tucker Barnhart has had 12 more at bats than Eric Haas. Eric Haas has had 160 at bats, yet he has double the RBIs, has 7 home runs, a triple, and more doubles than him. And he's played in less games. I know that Eric Haas he's not had as good of a year as he did last year, but he needs to play every day. I don't care that Tucker Barnhart can catch back there and be a Gold Glove quality catcher. He just does not. He is not a major league quality bat. I'm sorry.
No, we need more of the offense. That's the one thing we have struggled with the most this season. So if anything, I mean, Eric Haas needs more. He needs to be playing more. He needs more at bats. We need more of his offense compared to Barnhart's, because it's obvious we're still highly lacking in our offense this season. So
Eric Haas has only played in 58 games, and he is tied for second in the team lead for home runs.
That's crazy.
That's insane. But I'm gonna go ahead and let's go back to the game, or the train wreck, I should say.
I mean, we had a pitcher's duel through the first, basically until that home run in the 5th.
Yeah, Sean Manaea, Frankie Montas he only went 3 innings, but he was dominant on the mound. He only allowed 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 5, and then the A's bullpen really just did not allow us to do anything else. I'm not even kidding here. Only the A's put up 5 relievers, actually 6 relievers. No, 5. I'm sorry. They threw 5 relievers out there, and only A.J. Puck allowed a hit, and he allowed 2. It was
their bullpen was definitely on top of it, way more than it was our first game against them.
It was like the change in jerseys that the A's put out there was it basically created a completely different team. Because you got Sean Murphy had 3 RBIs on a 3-run home run in the 5th inning that broke it open. And I knew right then and there, and I know probably you thought the same thing, that the game was over because the offense was legitimately non-existent in this game.
Oh yeah, unless we score a run within the first 3 innings, it definitely feels like it's a very low chance that we're going to be able to catch up and win that game. I mean, we have done it, but it's a very low chance. So it's definitely, I mean, it's really good. Like when we see those runs coming in, I mean, until the 5th inning, it really could have been anyone's game with the pitcher's duel going on. But after that home run, it was harder to even think that we were going to be able to catch up with that, especially with the way the offense had been up until that point.
Yeah, all the A's runs came in the 6th inning, and it felt like that inning went on forever because after Hill got bounced in the 6th, they brought in my personal hero, Andrew Chafin, and he had his worst outing of the season, albeit he only allowed 1 earned run. But he went 1 inning, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, only the 1 was earned, struck out 1. And I believe, and he also threw a ball in the dirt, and that earned run that was unearned probably should have been on him anyway because it was on an error that was his own fault. And I believe that is the 2nd error by Andrew Chafin, which is, it's rare to have a pitcher have multiple errors on a season.
Yeah. So it definitely, he's been doing pretty great this season with coming in. So today definitely it was a little rough to see that, especially after those 3 runs, I still really felt like, hey, we have a chance. Like they can, like my optimism coming out with, they have a chance, they can do this. But then after those 2 other runs came in the next inning, later that inning, it definitely was harder to stay in that positive mindset about it because, I mean, you get to 3 runs and you're pretty much saying basically they're not going to win, but you get to 5 runs and it's game over.
Yeah. The Tigers left 6 men on base, 0 for 6 in runners in scoring position. Tucker Barnhart, I believe there was a rally a bit in the 7th inning, and Tucker Barnhart, on cue after I went off on him, grounded into a double play that ended that inning.
Yeah.
So, Tucker Barnhart he just is not a guy who can hit with runners on. That's probably another way to put that rant into a bit of a kind of like sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and we've had that problem with a lot of them this season. I feel we're leaving there's just way too many people being left on base during these games, and especially like I think a lot of our runs today were scored, or in the first game were scored with 2 outs already. So I mean, but then you go into the second game and 2 outs, you're done. I mean, no runs are coming in, no one's on base, and if they are, they're getting left, and it's usually they're basically on first base since we only had the 1 extra base hit.
Yeah. Impatient at bats were the key in this game if you were the Tigers, apparently, because 12 strikeouts is compared to 2 walks, and those were from the bats of Victor Reyes and Miguel Cabrera. And like I said, it's been said multiple times before. We've never covered it as we just started this show, but this was the 14th time this season the Tigers have been shut out, and it's all too common. And I'm going to say I think they're probably going to have 20 shutouts by the end of this season.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's that high. I mean, we were at 13 shutouts the first half of the season. So, and I mean, like, it's absolutely ridiculous with the amount of shutouts that have happened this season. Like, and especially looking at those shutouts, as many times, as we have stranded people on left bases loaded that could potentially have gotten us up into the game, got us going, and how many people we've left on base with that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start what I mentioned about Miggy being hit on a 3-0 pitch. I kind of wanted to get into that because I know it's not that big of a deal in concept, but I really wish that something was done about that, because it was on a 3-0 pitch. Miguel Cabrera got hit in
I think it was
in his shin
I think
or
it was
something like that.
I think it was the forearm.
Yeah, it was in the forearm or something like that. I'll put up the video on the YouTube version of this, and I'll play it over the screen here. But I'm gonna also pull it up here just so I can look at it, because I was out at Meyer at the time of this, so I want to go ahead and but it really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I know the unwritten rules. I've watched baseball enough to know what the unwritten rules are, and because the 2-0 pitch they even said was up and in, I just thought, like, well, hey, I think if the 2-0 pitch was up and in, I don't know how that 3-0 pitch was not intentional, because I know we played these guys a lot, and I know it's probably just a take to just assume this, but like I felt like that was intentional. I mean, if you're up 5-0 and you're pitching inside to a player of Miguel Cabrera's caliber.
I mean, come on, you're pitching against Miggy. I mean, is it really? I could definitely see it being as something intentionally happening, but you don't intentionally hit Miggy. Like, that's just, come on.
It literally just felt like, at least to me, it was a hit. It was intentional, and I can't pull the video up as of now. But like I said, I'm going to link it when I make the video, when I edit this in post. But it felt like to me that the A's were starting something that was not there, and I know it's probably just a bunch of accusations to just assume that. But like I said, come on, if you're pitching inside and you're up 5-0 in the ninth inning, and you've got what was it, Jose Trevino on the mound, who has a 6.35 ERA. I feel like he was in there just to send a message that for something that was never there. Because I think I went to 3 of the games when we played at Comerica against the A's back in May, and I did not see anything that would have caused any issue back then. As long as I'm aware, I mean, I don't think you could have said anything.
No, I don't remember seeing anything. So I don't understand it.
It just didn't make any sense to me, because, like, why would you pitch inside to that late in the game? I don't know if it had anything to do with his command or anything, because I don't know what the pitch was or anything like that. It just felt wrong to just plunk a guy when you're up 5-0 like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But, okay, we're going to go ahead, and like I said, I'm going to move on to the other thing that has happened today. There was a bunch of roster transactions today. And once we're done with that, we'll probably go ahead and preview the series that'll be this weekend, which I don't know if I might go to those games. I'm not sure if you are.
I don't think I'm going to any this weekend, but I definitely will be watching them. It will definitely be an interesting series coming up. So
it's kind of weird. It's only a 2-game set against the Twins, which I know why it's that way. It's because of the lockout had a washout, and they had to make an off day so that they could get back to Detroit.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely a little bit weird. I feel like we've had a lot of those this season, though.
But yeah, this was the. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
But yeah, so the roster moves that were made. First off, I'm going to go ahead and say it says Ronnie Garcia and Matt Manning were sent on rehab assignments, which I know Matt Manning was actually supposed to make. I don't think anybody noticed this. Nobody covered this either. Matt Manning was supposed to make a rehab assignment start for the Mud Hens on Sunday night against the St. Paul Saints, and the game, and I believe the Mud Hens came out to a 1-0 lead, and the game was suspended in the top of the first because apparently I think it rained for like 20 minutes and the field was deemed unplayable. I'm putting finger quotes in the air. And that's especially considering the Twins were playing at the same time. And the game was never suspended there. So, yeah, Matt Manning and Ronnie Garcia on rehab assignments. Drew Carlton was redeemed outright. Not surprised nobody claimed him because let's be honest, he sucks. Yesterday, this was not covered at all. Tigers signed free agent right-handed pitcher Tim Holdgraffer to a minor league free agent contract. Who apparently was apparently last in the Royals system. I guess he might have been like an undrafted collegiate free agent or something. I'm not sure. Not a lot of info on it. But yeah, all the ones today, Cody Clemens and Zach Short were called up from the Mud Hens today, which I knew Cody was probably going to come back up, but I was a little surprised to see Zach Short.
Yeah, I know Will Vest had his baby today, so I know he went onto the paternity list.
Yes, he did.
Today as well.
And then Garrett Hill was called up as the 27th man, but I feel like he's probably going to stay in the rotation for a little while.
Definitely, especially after we had Brisky join the injured list.
Which, that was the one that really shocked me, and I don't know if it shocked you because...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because, they never said anything about it. It made me wonder, what was going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
Oh, yeah, because his last start was good. So it definitely was very shocking. When I saw that tweet come out earlier, I was definitely very shocked about that one. So I'm really hoping it's only he's only missing a few of his starts because he's finally starting to pick up and get going on the mound. So.
Yeah, his last start, I believe, was on the 14th. I could be wrong. Let me see.
I mean, at this point, I really feel like our injured list is basically mostly just our starting pitchers. So.
Oh, no, it was not that one. I think it was back in Chicago. Because I know he was supposed to get, innings limits. That was what I was told. That's all we were told, was that he was going to have inning limits put on him. But then he goes ahead and gets put on the injured list for right forearm soreness, of all things. And obviously, Cisnero got activated today from the bereavement list, and then Will Vest got placed on the paternity list, which we knew that was going to happen regardless of what happened.
Yeah.
But, it just proves that the starting rotation is further in shambles. I'm not even sure how you can, put, the probables up for the next day at this point, because, you never have a chance of the guy being healthy.
Yeah, no, you never know. You never know if our starting pitcher is going to be there or not. I mean, at this point, it's insane on how many of our starting pitchers have ended up on the IL this season. And yet, still, I mean, our bullpen is dominating, so...
Yeah, and nobody in the bullpen ever gets injured, it seems. It's just the starting rotation that gets hurt.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, looking forward to this weekend. The Tigers will take on there'll be a 5-game homestand that lasts from this Saturday, the 23rd, through Wednesday, the 27th. And looking at the probables on Saturday's game, which is a 6:10 start on God Bless Bally Sports Detroit. God help me. I could go off on them at some point. I won't now, but in the future I will be. I will go off on Bally Sports Detroit because
yes.
Maybe we'll do that on a day where maybe tomorrow or something when we have an off day.
Yeah, too much to talk about with that one.
Yep. So tomorrow on Saturday's game, it'll be Michael Pineda for the Tigers against a pitcher to be determined for the Twins. And obviously, you never know what game you're going to play against the Twins because let me see if I can pull up what our stats are against them because those games have been kind of like a wash to me, it seems. Like I know how we've played against the Guardians and the White Sox, but it seems like I had not remembered how we played against the Twins. Let me see.
I feel like it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. We've played 11 games against them. We have won 5 and lost 6. So we've been okay against them, I guess.
Yeah, it'll definitely. I mean, this weekend we'll see how that goes with it. I mean, it's really, at this point, it's a 50-50 shot if our offense shows up nowadays. So
I feel like people will show up to the game on Saturday because they're giving away that Miguel Cabrera 500 statue, which I don't even know how they call it a statue. It's literally just the number 500 with a crown on it. I thought it,
yeah.
like, when they announced that, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be like an action figure or something, but no.
No, that's what I thought too.
But yeah, that's how the game on Saturday is going to look. It should be an interesting one because you never know because after Pineda's last start, I don't think I can trust him at all anymore.
Yeah,
like,
no.
God help me, I don't. That game was
horrendous.
Yeah, just I have no words for it. I mean, watching it in person,
I can't even imagine.
It was embarrassing, especially considering it was a hostile environment with all the Guardians fans there.
Yeah.
It was really painful. Like, I was sitting there with a straight face, and I'm looking straight at, I'm like, is this what pain feels like? Because I feel like I'm not feeling anything anymore.
And I mean, with that last series against Cleveland, I was really expecting something different out of that, which I figured you were too. So
yeah, I thought, because I even said, like, my dad, because we had swept them last time, like, we're going to go into Cleveland, we're going to sweep them. Obviously, which a lot of that was false hope driven, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. But back to Sunday, we have another pitcher to be determined for the Twins against Drew Hutchison, the guy I love to hate, but has actually been kind of decent as of recent. So, you never know, that game will be a 1:40 start because of the Peacock game at noon, which this week will be Cubs-Phillies. So yeah, 1:40 on Sunday, Tigers-Twins. Who knows who will take that one? I really have no idea because that really is a crapshoot. Like, the stats speak for themselves. It really depends on who is pitching for the Twins before we can make any estimates.
Yeah, I definitely feel it'll be interesting to see how that game goes for sure.
And then obviously there's those 3 games at home against the Padres, which I don't know how I'm going to judge those because the Padres really are just being carried by Machado right now. Obviously they don't have Tatis back.